Welcome, Film is an LG K61 and today I will go over unboxing along with a brief overview of the device. So starting off, this is the box that it comes in, probably the cheapest feeling box on the market. Just a literal piece of cardboard everywhere, and not like hard one, just kind of like flimsy cardboard. Then inside slot right in the front is the phone, so just take it out, set it to the side for now, and I'll come back to it shortly. So furthermore, in the box we have a protection for the device. So a little casing, then some paperwork. I'm not even going to bother opening it up. A SIM eject tool, and apart from that there is also a cable, type A to type C, looking really cheap. So the charger also feels super cheap, so I'm assuming it's going to be like 15 watts if not less. Let's quickly check. Yep, no, it's even less, it's 10 watts. So completely garbage charger. Okay, so let's drop that back in here. Actually, not the case. I'm gonna quickly slap the case on and see how the device looks like. So it doesn't add like these obnoxiously big bezels on the sides, as some cases that come with the phones do. Makes the camera flush, so it won't be getting in the way anymore. Although this camera probably wasn't wobbling anyway because it's fairly well placed. Outside of that, it looks like it's still a decent case, honestly. Now, also something that I can see right now is the phone actually comes with a headphone jack, which does kind of surprise me. But yeah, now getting started. Let's unlock it. Now the device is already set up, and unlock that. There we go. So the device has a 6.53 inch display, which you can see right here, with a tiny hole punched camera that you can see right here. When I pull down something that is not black, they seem to do a fairly good job in terms of like the wallpapers and just how the UI is designed to hide that hole punch, because this is basically the only thing that can show it, or well, probably a white background like right here. So apart from the size, it has a 1080p display resolution, so it's a 1080 by 2340, and it's an IPS display, so no super deep blacks if you're wanting that. And it also comes with a 394 pixels per inch. It's a okay resolution, honestly. I would say actually a good one for the budget of the device, how cheap it is. And also 82.5 screen to body ratio. So again, fairly decent one. You do have a quite huge chin on the bottom. As you can see, there is a lot of unused space right here. But then still, like I said, it's a budget device, so it is okay in my opinion. Then moving on, we have on the front a 16 megapixel camera, shoots at 1080p 30 frames if you're wondering. Then if we flip it back over, we have a quad camera setup, and the main pixel shooter is a 48 megapixel wide sensor. Then we have an 8 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel macro, and 5 megapixel depth. And unfortunately, all that basically equates to shooting at 1080p, again 30 frames. So you're not even getting 60 out of this. Kind of shame, but then like I said, it's a budget device. Then if we go back, finishing up the specs of it, we have a only one variant of RAM. So we have 8 gigabytes, but two different versions in terms of storage. So we have 64 and 128. Along with an expandable storage. Now in normal circumstances I would tell you to go with the highest RAM possible, but in this case there is no other option here. And as you can already kind of see, the device isn't the fastest one. It comes with a Helios P35, and you can clearly see the the bottleneck that it is right on this Android 9. It just chunks everywhere. There is like anything that you open feels a little bit slow, I would say. As you can see, closing is just not fluid, which is kind of a shame, honestly. Other than that, if you're not bothered with the animation and just the performance of the device, it's a decent device. Also has a 4000 mAh battery. But if we look at other options from different manufacturers, as an example, literally on like a couple days ago, I did a review of the Samsung A31, and that phone is basically the same price, but better in every single way possible. Has a 5000 mAh battery, comes with multiple versions of RAM. In terms of storage, it has the same, along with expandable storage. Cameras are about the same. The difference is also in the display. The Samsung will come with a Super AMOLED display with a fairly similar resolution. You can actually look it up right here. I still have it on the paper. So it has 1080 by 2400. So what is it, like 60 more pixels? Whoop-de-doo, I guess no one really cares about that many pixels. And like I said, the AMOLED, higher pixels per inch because of it, and the size of the display is a tiny bit smaller. It's 6.4 instead of 6.53. But like I said, the price is basically the same, and it comes with a better processor, which doesn't feel so outdated as it does on this device, and also comes with an Android 10. This one comes with Android 9, so if you're planning to get a phone that will last you a little bit longer and it is budget, I would highly advise to go for the Samsung rather than this. And as you can see, apart from that, just a typical device. It has a dedicated button on the side for, I think it's Google Assistant. Yep, there it is. It just takes a while for it to come up. Comes with an Android 9, 4 gigs RAM, like I said, and this device, I think this one specifically, has only 64 gigs in storage, so it's the lower range of it. And yeah, apart from that, let's also do the camera test, just so you can see how the cameras perform. And let me just quickly clean the lens of my fingerprints. There we go, now it's nice and clean. So let's get our subject. Now let's see, number one, does it auto detect macro? Doesn't look like it, so yeah, I can more macro, there we go. So this is the macro lens. Actually looks fairly decent, I think, honestly. Okay, never mind. It doesn't look decent. For a macro lens, this is garbage. It literally defeats the purpose of it. Let me just try to move it a little bit back, maybe that will help. Yep, nope, there is literally no detail in it. So you can see this complete blurry mess. There is literally no quality in this photo. Everything just seems like a Play-Doh mass. Just as a comparison, if I can actually find my own phone, whatever it is. Oh, there it is. I took this photo just as a comparison a couple days ago, same photo basically, so you can get a good look at how the macro should look like. If I can quickly find it, there we go. Now it looks like I took two photos. Let me just quickly, okay, so there we go. So this is a macro. If I can actually flip it over, there we go. Let's turn that on, max out the brightness. So as a comparison, let me just put this up here. Now it probably isn't very fair to compare a 2-year-old flagship to a budget range phone from this year, but just as an example of how it should look to how it looks. So do you see the difference in here? You can literally see the paint chips. Hopefully on the camera it looks good, but like in here that is just completely blurry. You don't even see the texture in the paint, where here you can see the literal grain of it. So I wouldn't really classify this as a whatever the sensor is here from macro. It does a very poor job at it. Now let's also look at the other photos. Now I'm not expecting much from it, considering this is a budget device, but I would still like to see some kind of decent, or well, mid-range photos out of it. So let's see how it does with that. So there we go, there is one photo. It's not bad, honestly, although it loses a lot of detail in the red, which honestly I came to see in a lot of different phones, even more, like twice more expensive than this. So that is not very shocking. Then this is the other one that I took, and again, it's an okay photo. It will do the job. Now they seem to come out fairly okay, although it does lose a lot of data and the darker spots, so it doesn't look like it's doing too much in terms of HDR and dealing with light, which again, it's probably to be expected considering this is a budget device. And yeah, so that was the camera. I'm not even gonna bother with the front one. I don't expect it to be any good, especially not any better than the back one. Apart from that, the device comes with a fingerprint sensor on the back, which, let me just quickly flip it, it's this right here, and also has NFC and all that other stuff like gyroscopes and other sensors if you're interested in those. And yeah, I guess that would probably wrap it up, the overview of it. So just to conclude it, it's a budget device that performs like a complete budget device. It's, in my opinion, a little bit overpriced. If you can find it for a less than 200, like for instance 150, then I could maybe justify the price, but for 200 you have better options, so keep that in mind. I strongly suggest, if you cannot get it for about 150 or somewhere in that range, don't go for this one. Just try to find something better. And yeah, as you've seen, the photos were mediocre. The system runs a little bit, it's a little bit bottlenecked here, as you can clearly see in the animation side of it. And overall the device just kind of performs like a true budget phone. Personally, I don't really feel like my money would be well spent in terms of purchase of this device, but that's just me. And yeah, so this would conclude the overview of the device. And if you found it helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.